Nursery Rhymes, chosen by Ronne Randall, illustrated by Peter Stevenson, and voiced by Heugel. Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Up Jack got, and home did trot, as fast as he could caper, to old Dame Dob, who patched his knob with vinegar and brown paper. Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. It followed her to school one day, which was against the rule. It made the children laugh and play to see a lamb at school. And so the teacher turned it out, but still it lingered near, and waited patiently about till Mary did appear. "What makes the lamb love Mary so?" the eager children cry. "Why, Mary loves the lamb, you know," the teacher did reply. Baa Baa Black Sheep. Baa Baa Black Sheep, do you have any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. One for the master, one for the dame, and one for the little boy who lives down the lane. Little Boy Blue. Little Boy Blue, come blow your horn. The sheep's in the meadow, the cow's in the corn. Where is the boy who looks after the sheep? He's under the haystack, fast asleep. Will you wake him? No, not I, for if I do, he's sure to cry. Little Bo Peep. Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep, and she doesn't know where to find them. Leave them alone, and they'll come home, bringing their tails behind them. Little Bo Peep fell fast asleep, and dreamt she heard them bleating. And when she awoke, she found it a joke, for they were still a-fleeting. Then up she took her little crook, determined for to find them. She found them indeed, but it made her heart bleed, for they'd left their tails behind them. Little Bird. Once I saw a little bird come hop, hop, hop. So I cried, "Little bird, would you stop, stop, stop?" I was going to the window to say, "How do you do?" But he shook his little tail, and far away he flew. Summer Breeze. Summer breeze, so softly blowing, in my garden pinks are growing. If you go and send the showers, you may come and smell my flowers. Mary, Mary. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row. Gray Goose and Gander. Gray Goose and Gander, waft your wings together, and carry the good king's daughter over the One Strand River. I had a little nut tree. I had a little nut tree, nothing would it bear, but a silver nutmeg and a golden pear. The King of Spain's daughter came to visit me, and for all the sake of my little nut tree. Rub-a-dub-dub. Rub-a-dub-dub, 3 men in a tub. And how do you think they got there? The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. They all jumped out of a rotten potato. 'Twas enough to make a man stare. I saw a ship a-sailing. I saw a ship a-sailing on the sea. And oh, but it was laden with pretty things for thee. There were comfits in the cabin, and apples in the hold. The sails were made of silk, and the masts were made of gold. The 24 sailors that stood between the decks were 24 white mice with chains around their necks. The captain was a duck with a packet on his back, and when the ship began to move, the captain said, "Quack, quack." Sing a song of sixpence. Sing a song of sixpence, and pocket full of rye. 24 blackbirds baked in a pie. When the pie was open, the birds began to sing. Wasn't that a dainty dish to set before the king? The king was in the counting house, counting out his money. The queen was in the parlor, eating bread and honey. The maid was in the garden, hanging out the clothes, when down came a blackbird and pecked it off her nose. Little Miss Muffet. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider, who sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Curly locks. Curly locks, curly locks, wilt thou be mine? Thou shalt not wash dishes, nor yet feed the swine, but sit on a cushion and sew a fine seam, and feast upon strawberries, sugar, and cream. Little Tommy Tucker. Little Tommy Tucker sings for his supper. What shall he eat? White bread and butter. How will he cut it without e'er a knife? How will he marry without e'er a wife? Little Betty Blue. Little Betty Blue lost her holiday shoe. What can little Betty do? Give her another to match the other, and then she may walk in two. The Queen of Hearts. The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts, all on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts, he stole the tarts, and took them clean away. The King of Hearts called for the tarts, and beat the knave full sore. The Knave of Hearts brought back the tarts, and vowed he'd steal no more. The Lion and the Unicorn. The Lion and the Unicorn were fighting for the crown. The lion beat the unicorn all around the town. Some gave them white bread, some gave them brown, some gave them plum cake and drummed them out of town. Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Hickory Dickory Dock. Hickory Dickory Dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 1, the mouse ran down. Hickory Dickory Dock. Pussycat, pussycat. Pussycat, pussycat, where have you been? I've been to London to visit the Queen. Pussycat, pussycat, what did you do there? I frightened a little mouse under the chair. 6 little mice. 6 little mice sat down to spin. Pussy passed by, and she peeped in. What are you doing, my little men? We're weaving shirts for gentlemen. Can I come in and cut off your threads? No, no, Mistress Pussy, you'd cut off our heads. I love little Pussy. I love little Pussy. Her coat is so warm, and if I don't hurt her, she'll do me no harm. So I'll not pull her tail, nor drive her away, but Pussy and I very gently will play. Old Mother Hubbard. Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to fetch her poor dog a bone. But when she got there, the cupboard was bare, and so the poor dog had none. Hey diddle diddle. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle. The cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed to see such a sport, and the dish ran away with the spoon. One misty morning. One misty, moisty morning, when cloud was the weather, I met with an old man, clothed all in leather. Clothed all in leather, with cap under his chin. How do you do? And how do you do? And how do you do again? The old woman who lived in a shoe. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread, then scolded them soundly and sent them to bed. Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater. Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater had a wife and couldn't keep her. He put her in a pumpkin shell, and there he kept her very well. Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater had another and didn't love her. Peter learned to read and spell, and then he loved her very well. Tweedledum and Tweedledee. Tweedledum and Tweedledee agreed to fight a battle, for Tweedledum, said Tweedledee, had spoiled his nice new rattle. Just then flew by a monstrous crow, as big as a tar barrel, which frightened both the heroes so they quite forgot their quarrel.